Christian Cage wins the gauntlet match. If you were the promoter, this is Ricochet's debut in the company, wouldn't you have put him over?
Let's talk a little bit about AEW. They had a all-in pay-per-view recently in London. And Bill, I mean, Teddy, I know you don't watch that. So there would be just a couple of things real fast here. But Bill, I thought the pay-per-view was actually very good. It was surprisingly good, actually.
They hit it out of the park, out of the stadium. Every match was really, really, really good.
We had Bryan Danielson beating Swerve Strickland to become the AEW heavyweight champion. And at the end, we had Bree, who came in the ring with their kids and celebrated with Bryan inside the ring. I thought it was a great moment. I also think it's something they need in AEW. I think Swerve needed to lose at that point right there. I think it's a perfect place for him to lose. And even by losing, he didn't lose. The guy's phenomenal. The match was incredible. I mean, if anything, it made him even better.
He looked great. There was a stipulation that if Bryan Danielson lost, he would have to retire. Swerve Strickland was a terrific champion. The two of them worked a classic match, and eventually Danielson won with the LaBelle lock, made famous by Mike and Gene LaBelle out in Los Angeles many, many years ago. And what a great crowning moment. Yeah, it was just wonderful. I'm glad he won.
They had other moments during that pay-per-view too, and that being Ricochet, who was formerly in WWE, making his AEW debut in London. Huge pop, and he got to showcase a lot of his talent.
But wait a minute. I have an issue with that.
Okay, go ahead.
He makes his debut in AEW in the gauntlet match to get a shot at the world title. Christian Cage wins the gauntlet match. If you were the promoter, this is Ricochet's debut in the company, wouldn't you have put him over? That's one of the reasons he left WWE.
That's an easy question, just in wrestling in general. What do you think?
About what?
Should Ricochet have won basically the battle royal of all these contestants on his debut?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, and I don't want to speak on it. And the reason why, because I don't watch it. So, you know what I mean? So I don't want to say something that, that I don't know what I'm talking about, because I don't watch it. So I like Ricochet. He's a great talent. You know what I mean? And if they use him right, I think that would be a good thing to do.
I don't think
okay. Like I said, like you and Bill just said, the pay-per-view that they just had, they knocked it out of the park. Well, congratulations to them. As long as they're doing something that's right, then I'm for that. You know what I mean? So I got nothing against them. It ain't that I don't like them. It's just some of the stuff that they do. I just don't think it's right, and I don't watch it. But if they're doing the right thing, you guys said they had a great show. Congratulations to them.
You know what got me, Mac?
What's
Toni
that?
Storm lost her AEW World title to Mariah May, her protege, and she went out of the ring, Mariah May, and slapped her mother in the face.
Yeah, I did. And I mean, when she slapped her, wait, Teddy, you didn't see this, but when she slapped her mother, brother, I mean,
it was a big slap.
That's all right. That's real. That's the kind of stuff I like. I love that.
I bet her mama was seeing a dentist the next day.
Do you know why she did it? She said her mother only came to see her wrestle twice in her career, and she was PO'd at her, and that's why.
That's real. That's real, brother.
Now, a couple more things from AEW. We'll move on. Sting returned, of course, to save Darby Allin, who was about to be burned alive, basically in a casket, when Sting came down for the save. And also, I want to bring up one real disappointment in that pay-per-view. And I do want to talk about this just a little bit.
Check out BrainBuster, the daily quiz that tests your WWE knowledge with winning streaks, stats, and more. It's time to see if you're up for the challenge.
In that pay-per-view, there was one match that stood out as the popcorn go take a leak match, which ended up being, of all things, the CEO
versus the DMD.
Britt Baker. So you basically, you got, I'm trying to remember what her name, Mone, what's her first name? God almighty. Mercedes Mone and Britt Baker. I don't know what happened in that match, but it to me was not good. Not good at all. I haven't seen anything great from the former Sasha, Mone now. I don't see it. I don't see where you spend millions of dollars to bring somebody in and nothing's happening. She's not moving the needle whatsoever. Did they overpay?
It ain't her.
Well, I'd say that, but at the same time, I'm watching the match in the ring and I'm thinking the two people in this ring should be actually doing something that looked good, and they looked like they were just clumsy as hell. It was not a good match. Well,
maybe if they did something before this match even started, they should have got together. They knew they were going to be working together. Whoever the producer is or whoever had that match, they should have got with them way before this ever started and got that thing really worked out. So once you work it out back there and your agent or your producer got it, and then you go in the ring and screw it up, then it's on you. It ain't on the agent. That right there, what they did, if the agent didn't have nothing, they made them all look bad.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. I think that the blame has to fall on the talent because the talent was performing in the ring. I mean, the performance they were giving was subpar at best.
But you can't just blame the talent because the talent knows better. Okay, they can perform better. You've seen that out of them. So there may be something that's going on that maybe makes the talent not want to perform at their best.
I got what you're saying.
Baker had just
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Britt Baker had just come back from a few months out, so she may not have been up to par physically. But one of the other things that made me pop was that when Hook won the FTW title back from Chris Jericho using the Taz mission, and then his dad, Taz, the Tasmaniac, got up from the broadcast position, and just as Brian Keith was going to interfere, Taz got up in his suit and tie or a turtleneck and put the Taz mission on Brian Clark and then hugged his son. I loved it. It was great to see him.
Well, it was about time too. Taz, there's too many times that he's been, his son's getting beat up right in front of him and getting taken advantage of. A real dad's not going to sit there.
But see, the guys that worked that out knew what they were doing. See how they took their time with it? They didn't rush it. They waited until the time was right, and it was good.
And that goes back to the girls' match. For me, this is your major pay-per-view. If you didn't think that match would be good or that one of the participants may not be up to par, would you put it on your big show? Would Vince have put that on, on a WrestleMania if he knew one of them couldn't perform?
But you don't know that.
Well, I'm just saying if that's the reason.
You don't know what's going to happen until they get out there. They've already talked the match over. Okay, maybe I've seen Vince has been out there with guys go over it and everything. And as soon as they hit the ring, it turns right into the shits.
It's like a boxer. You see him sparring. He's incredible. Going to beat the world champ. Then he gets in the ring. He's knocked out in one round.
Well, yeah, it was about as exciting as,
Do you guys, I'll ask Bill after this. I don't know whether Mac remembers this. Do you remember the night that Vince walked down, came out of Gorilla and came down and got Seth Rollins? Or was it Seth? I believe it was Seth. He was working with Kofi Kingston, and he was supposed to win the title at the pay-per-view, which was coming up. And Kofi was just eating him up out there. Vince got up out of his seat, left Gorilla, went down to the ring, got them both out of the ring on live TV, brought them straight back up the ramp through Gorilla, give them the come to Jesus meeting, and then sent them right back out there and made them do it right.
I remember.
Let's talk about AEW's Saraya. We were talking about AEW earlier, and of course, Saraya, for those of you who are not aware, is formerly Paige in WWE. And Saraya wasn't thrilled at how things went down at All In London, and she sent a message to Jamie Hayter saying, quote, "Oh my gosh, shut the f*** up. I am the star of the show. The audacity of you to keep me waiting while all these bunch of f***ing marks walked out. I am so sick of it here. I'm sick of being treated like crap out there. I'm sick of being treated like crap in here. I am sick of it. How dare Jamie Hayter comes down here and gets in my face. Does she know who she's messing with? Trying to embarrass me in front of my family. Yeah, put that mic down, RJ City. You're talking way too much. This message is for Jamie. You ever do that again, I'm going to beat your f***ing ass. You hear me? Do you hear me?
I hear you.
End quote. That was during the press conference that came out after the fact of All In, and she has some really choice words. And for the first time in her time in AEW, I'm now interested to see where this goes.
I like that promo.
Yes, I like that. It felt real.
Yeah, I like that.
I call her Soraya.
Soraya?
Soraya.
Okay, Soraya, tomato. No. Paige.